Okay, I gotta know. To those of you with siblings out there, could you bring yourself to fight your brother or your sister like Shoto is fighting Dabi right now? Could you bring yourself to do this to them? Could you even look them in the eye? Then again, those brother vs. brother wrestling matches get pretty intense. Now available with Fire. What's up? It's Truth Hero, and welcome back to another My Hero Academia Chapter review. Man, that feels good to say. Today we'll be discussing Boku no Hero Academia Chapter 352 of the manga. We'll of course talk about everything from this epic showdown between brother vs. brother, Shoto vs. Dabi, Shoto's new techniques, as well as Shoto taking on the responsibility for the crimes and sins of his family, and of course the thing on everyone's mind, can Shoto actually save Dabi, or Touya? The chapter opens as a flashback with Shoto and the other students at the dorm before this war has even begun, with Deku questioning whether or not Shoto will actually fight his brother. Interestingly enough here, Shoto takes the approach that it's his responsibility to stop Dabi, even though this might mean that Endeavor can't keep his word in stopping Touya, his son, to Hero Society. Since Dabi is sort of the manifestation of all these sins and crimes of the Todoroki family, Shoto believes he has to be the one to stop it. It's his responsibility. He goes on to say that if I can't confront this family issue and this battle, how can I confront any battle as a hero? He takes the approach that I must face my own demons and the demons of my family before I can exorcise any that are out in the world. Clean your room, improve yourself before you criticize the world. And I like that approach. Come to think of it, it's very Jordan Peterson-esque. It's just fascinating because what happened to Touya is not Shoto's fault. What happened to his family and the stuff Endeavor did is not his fault. Yet he feels he's the only one who can cleanse those sins. This may hint that although Endeavor has been making steady progress in developing and healing his relationship with his family and people like Fuyumi, Shoto may not be as ready to forgive his father as we may have first believed. It also presents an entirely different scenario in which Shoto will not forgive Endeavor at all, or at the very least be very hesitant to, based on the information he learns from Dabi in this battle. I'll touch more on this in a bit when we talk about the actual battle between these two, but we can already see that Shoto is thinking about his and Touya's past, and probably doesn't want to hurt Dabi any more than he needs to. What if Shoto actually saves Dabi here using these techniques, and then after the battle, he takes Dabi's side because some new information has come to light, and Shoto now understands, finally comprehends, the true new horrors that Endeavor put Touya through. Not that Shoto would actually team up with Dabi and then go fight Endeavor, and to be honest, I don't think we're going to get some huge revelation about Touya's backstory in this battle. I think we pretty much have his backstory figured out. And to top it all off, Dabi's responsible for the majority of his actions despite having a traumatic past. But if Shoto took Dabi's side and was very sympathetic to him, sort of against their father, this would at the very least make those family gatherings and dinners quite awkward, as if they weren't awkward enough already. Before I talk about the battle, let's talk technique, because the physics of Shoto's new ability and how he maintains fire and ice is actually pretty cool. Shoto uses the hot and cold sides of his body simultaneously, but then uses the heart as a stabilizing agent so his hot-cold blood balances out and circulates through his body, maintaining his homeostasis and allowing him to perfectly wield hot and cold. It's essentially cold fire, which I don't know if any of you guys are chem majors, but let me know in the comments, is there a compound that can do this? As Shoto's showing off this technique back at the dorms, Denki even touches it and notes that he can't get burned. Ah, Denki, you lovable idiot. Shoto remarks that Endeavor always wanted a son that could use ice to cool down his body so that it wouldn't burn up when using these amazing, really powerful fire techniques. But ironically, Shoto here is using the fire within to stop his body from freezing in this cold fire fusion. I really like that Shoto describes himself as taking the opposite path than Endeavor. He's fully accepted his ice and his fire, which for a long time was very hard for him to do. And this shows that he's truly a unique individual hero. He's not Endeavor new and improved or version 2.0. Shoto is his own unique hero who uses ice first and then warms himself up. And now we get to see this unique individual in action. Shoto the hero, yes I said it, Shoto is a hero for confronting Dabi, uses a new technique called Freezing Impact Burning Ice Blade or Frost Blade to absolutely slash at Dabi, knocking him backwards and really snuffing out any fire Dabi was trying to throw his way. I cannot wait until this is animated. I mean, the sound effects alone are going to be worth the episode. Dabi responds by using flames like jet burn to stabilize himself as he causes huge pillars of flames to erupt from the ground at Shoto, saying, "Once you stray from the right path, it's impossible to turn back," and that Shoto and him represent the limit of this superhuman society, that they are destined to follow similar paths. So let's just burn it all down. It seems like because Dabi realizes the situation that he's in, that he'll never get close to Shoto's body with his flames due to Shoto's ice, that he gets a bit desperate here and tries to get into Shoto's head. But could Dabi be right? Is Shoto destined to follow the same path as him just due to the Todoroki family sins and legacy? Is Shoto doomed from the beginning just by virtue of being a son of Endeavor? Do I believe this to be the case? No. For one, Shoto's a hero. He's my boy, okay? And he's always wanted to be like All Might, so I don't see him turning to villainy anytime soon. But two, we just saw Shoto come into his own by using cold fire and these techniques. This is perhaps the farthest thing away from Endeavor's formula. This is, the exact opposite of what Endeavor wanted for a son. Also, it's sort of the way of the hero to stand for goodness, justice, forgiveness, mercy, but also redemption. Some of the greatest do-gooders have been the greatest baddies prior. Look at Saul to Paul. So I don't think Shoto's gonna contemplate his lineage and then feel doom and gloom about his future. If anything, and we can get into this later about how Dabi could be saved, but I think Dabi might be the one that's automatically destined to seek redemption. And if he wants to start, he need only take a page out of Endeavor's playbook and ask for forgiveness, and ask his family first. After this, we see a bit of a cut where Shoto thinks about his classmates and how he thought he was always behind them because he didn't have his family stuff figured out. But he realizes Class 1A was always right beside him. They always reassured him. They always triumphed with him. So Shoto, no longer afraid of any firepower that Dabi can dish out, propels himself forward, goes right up to Dabi, neutralizes his flames with ice, and says, "There is turning back. One can make amends, even if it's by force. So please, just stop." Oh, I'm not crying. You're crying. Shoto says these poignant words as he embraces Dabi and uses this new technique, his best technique, Great Arctic Tsunami, freezing everything around him and completely neutralizing Dabi, and for the moment looking to have a decisive victory in this battle. I mean, he basically froze like 5 street blocks in every direction. It's like a snow globe. I cannot get over how perfect this scene is, how beautiful this juxtaposition is. We have Shoto and Touya shown in their childhood, crying and almost reaching out for each other, next to Shoto and Dabi embracing on the battlefield. It's almost like a lifetime of family regret has poured out here as the chapter ends. And this is why I believe Shoto can save Dabi. Shoto's clearly overpowered here, he has the upper hand. I mean, he just hugged him without getting burned by using this new technique. Dabi knows the situation he's in. He knows he cannot go toe-to-toe with Shoto in any physical competition. So Dabi now has to face his demons, Shoto, his family, society, everyone without his firepower. And that was the one thing that was sort of justifying his existence. You know, his body is decaying. His mind, I don't know where it is, but it's clearly messed up. So now he must do it alone. He must face himself too, without that firepower. And that's really what people have to do. They have to set aside their egos or anything that helps them deflect an issue and just face life head on. Confront your demons. Now, that's all good and well, but I want to discuss, how could Dabi seek redemption? How could he be saved? Because I am with Shoto, you can always turn your life around, but I'm also sympathetic to Dabi's words. You know, once you go far down a path, I mean, what's left for Dabi right now? At best, life in prison? Let's not forget that Dabi has killed many people, and even heroes, I'm sure. He killed that sand hero, and of course now he's fighting against heroes. So I don't think he could go back to a normal life like Endeavor, seeking forgiveness from his family and from his children for things that he's done, where it may be a crime, but you didn't kill someone. I think the only way forward for Dabi, he would have to go to prison for sure, but he could help the heroes get a higher villain. He could help the heroes get All For One and Shigaraki. Perhaps All For One's not monitoring him, but then again, the heroes are kind of battling them right now. So unless Dabi has some information on every crime boss in the entire world, it is going to be hard for him to sort of bargain for a better deal. Dabi could, however, save his soul, and I think this is the likely option given that Dabi doesn't have too many options. What I predict is that Dabi will be saved by Shoto here, but he will die on the battlefield due to his wounds and his burns. We all know Horikoshi is a huge fan of Star Wars, and Darth Vader was not redeemed because he helped the rebels rebuild the galaxy. No, he was redeemed when he finally saw his son and realized the error in his ways and said, hey, you know, you've saved me. I think Horikoshi's gonna pull a similar thing here. Dabi's gonna realize the error in his ways despite their traumatic past, him and Shoto, and he's gonna look upon his brother and say, you saved me. You know, he knows he's going to die, he knows his body's collapsing, but that will be enough for him to be redeemed in this moment, to save his soul. Unfortunately, if my prediction comes true, Endeavor might not have time to get over to Dabi and see his son Touya for the first time in, you know, God knows when, before he passes on. So bittersweet here, but it could pull Shoto and his father closer together because they realize how much they've lost. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys for this chapter. Let me know down below in the comments, what do you think about Shoto? And do you believe that Dabi can be saved? Are you of my opinion that he will be, but he'll suffer the same fate as Darth Vader? Or do you think that Dabi could be saved and walk a very different path of reconciliation within Hero Society? As always, I love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, Plus Ultra.